There's a reason experienced travelers willingly set their alarm for 3 or 4 in the morning. It's not because they enjoy waking up early. It's because they've learned a simple truth about air travel that can dramatically reduce delays, missed connections, lost luggage, and travel headaches. In this video, you'll discover why frequent flyers almost always choose the first flight of the day, and why once you understand the reason, you may never book an afternoon flight again. There is a quiet secret that seasoned travelers carry with them every time they step into an airport. While most people scroll through flight options and instinctively gravitate toward midday or afternoon departures, experienced travelers do something different. They almost always book the first flight of the day, and the reasons behind this choice go far deeper than simply wanting to get somewhere faster. This is a strategy built on years of accumulated wisdom, missed connections, delayed luggage, and hard-learned lessons about how the aviation system actually works. Once you understand the logic, you will never look at a morning departure the same way again. The aviation industry operates like a complex chain reaction. Every aircraft that takes off is connected to a series of events that happened before it, and a series of events that will happen after it. A plane does not simply appear at a gate ready to fly you to your destination. That same aircraft likely flew multiple routes the previous day, carried different passengers across different cities, and accumulated a history of small delays, maintenance checks, and scheduling adjustments. By the time the last flight of the day lands, that aircraft has been through an entire day of operational stress. The first flight of the morning, however, benefits from a clean slate. Experienced travelers know that avoiding delays starts long before you reach the airport. That's also why many frequent flyers choose safety wing travel insurance to help protect themselves when unexpected travel disruptions or medical issues threaten to derail a trip. Airlines operate on what industry insiders call a rotation system. Each aircraft is assigned a sequence of flights throughout the day, and those flights are tightly scheduled to maximize the use of every plane in the fleet. When one flight runs late, the delay does not simply disappear. It travels forward through the schedule. Like a ripple moving across still water, a 30-minute delay on a morning flight can become a 90-minute delay by the afternoon and a full cancellation by the evening. This is the cascade effect, and it is one of the most powerful arguments for booking the first departure of the day. When you board the first flight out, you are stepping onto an aircraft that has had the entire overnight period to be serviced, inspected, and prepared. Maintenance crews work through the night to ensure that planes are ready for the morning push. Fuel is loaded, safety checks are completed, and the aircraft sits at the gate waiting for you rather than racing from another city to make your departure time. The probability of your flight being delayed because of a late-arriving aircraft drops dramatically when you choose the earliest slot on the schedule. Weather is another critical factor that experienced travelers consider carefully. Morning flights consistently benefit from more stable atmospheric conditions. Thunderstorms, which are among the most common causes of flight delays across major hub airports, tend to develop and intensify during the afternoon and evening hours. The heating of the Earth's surface throughout the day creates the convective activity that fuels these storms. By departing in the early morning, you are statistically flying through calmer skies, which means fewer holding patterns, fewer diversions, and a significantly higher chance of arriving on time. There is another layer to this strategy that most travelers never consider, and it involves the human element of air travel. Gate agents, airline staff, and airport personnel are generally fresher and more accommodating in the morning hours. As the day progresses and delays pile up, stress levels rise across the entire system. Gate agents who have been managing frustrated passengers for 12 hours are simply less equipped to go above and beyond for any individual traveler. The morning shift operates with a different energy, one that is more solution-oriented and less overwhelmed by the accumulated chaos of a full travel day. This matters enormously when things go wrong. If your morning flight is canceled or significantly delayed, you have the entire day ahead of you to be rebooked. Airlines have more available seats on subsequent flights when the day is just beginning. By contrast, a traveler whose afternoon flight is canceled faces a much grimmer rebooking landscape. Most of the day's flights are already full, and the options narrow quickly. The experienced traveler who chose the morning departure and faces a disruption still has options. The traveler who chose the evening flight may be spending an unplanned night in a hotel, One of the biggest lessons experienced travelers learn is that travel doesn't always go according to plan. Even when you book the first flight of the day, weather events, airline disruptions, medical emergencies, lost luggage, and unexpected cancellations can still happen. The difference is that seasoned travelers prepare for those possibilities before they leave home. That's why many frequent flyers choose safety wing travel insurance. Instead of hoping everything goes perfectly, they travel with the confidence that they have an extra layer of protection if something unexpected occurs along the way. Think about everything you've invested in your trip, your flights, hotels, excursions, and valuable vacation time. A single disruption can quickly become expensive, stressful, and difficult to navigate when you're far from home. The most experienced travelers understand that smart travel isn't just about avoiding problems. It's about being prepared for the ones you can't avoid. Before your next trip, click the link below and see if Safety Wing Travel Insurance is right for you. It's one of those decisions you rarely regret making, but often regret skipping. Business travelers, who collectively represent some of the most frequent flyers in the world, have long understood the value of early departures. Their schedules demand reliability above almost everything else. A missed meeting or a late arrival to a conference can have real professional consequences, and so they have developed a discipline around morning flights that casual travelers would do well to adopt. Many frequent flyers accumulate enough experience to recognize patterns that occasional travelers simply never see, and the pattern around morning flight reliability is one of the clearest in all of aviation. There is also the matter of airport congestion. Major international airports process tens of thousands of passengers every single day, and the volume of travelers moving through security, boarding gates, and baggage claim builds steadily as the morning progresses. The traveler who arrives at the airport at 5 in the morning for a 6 o'clock departure encounters a fundamentally different environment than the traveler navigating the same airport at noon. Security lines are shorter, gate areas are less crowded, and the overall experience of moving through the airport is smoother and less stressful. This is not a minor convenience. For anyone who has missed a flight because of an unexpectedly long security line, the value of an uncrowded terminal is immediately obvious. Airports themselves undergo a kind of overnight reset that benefits early morning travelers in ways that are easy to overlook. Cleaning crews restore terminals to their best condition during the overnight hours. Restaurants and shops that were depleted by the previous day's traffic are restocked and refreshed. The physical environment of the airport is simply better in the early morning than it is at any other point in the day. For travelers who spend significant time in airports, this quality of environment has a real impact on the overall travel experience. Baggage handling is another area where morning flights carry a distinct advantage. The systems that move luggage through airports are complex and prone to errors, particularly when they are operating at peak capacity. Morning flights benefit from a baggage system that is running at lower volume, which means fewer opportunities for bags to be misrouted or delayed. The traveler who checks luggage on the first flight of the day is statistically more likely to see that luggage arrive at the destination carousel promptly and without incident. The honest challenge of booking the first flight of the day is the early wake-up time. There is no way around the fact that catching a 6 o'clock departure means setting an alarm for 3 or 4 in the morning, navigating dark and quiet streets, and arriving at an airport that is just beginning to come to life. For many travelers, this feels like too high a price to pay for the benefits described above. But experienced travelers have reframed this calculation entirely. They do not think of the early wake-up as a sacrifice. They think of it as an investment in a smoother, more predictable, and ultimately less stressful travel experience. The data supports this reframing completely. Studies of on-time performance across major airlines consistently show that early morning flights have the highest rates of on-time departure and arrival. The gap between the first flight of the day and the last flight of the day in terms of reliability is not marginal, it is substantial. Experienced travelers are not simply following a hunch when they reach for those early morning departures. They are making a data-informed decision that reflects a deep understanding of how the aviation system operates, where its vulnerabilities lie, and how to position themselves to avoid the worst of its inevitable disruptions.